Welcome back for today's college football pick video play for Saturday, September 28, 2019. Check out our free play for Saturday's action in the Rutgers versus Michigan game over at our main website, stumpthespread.com, as well as all of our picks for Saturday's action. And again, you can check that out over at stumpthespread.com, which is linked down in the video description. Heading into this one, talking about this intense rivalry matchup between Central Michigan and Western Michigan. Going to give our lean on where we see the better value against the spread with the home team, the Broncos, coming in favored by 16 points. Now, coming into the year, much higher expectations for the Broncos than Chippewa has, and we're seeing that baked in to the spread that we're getting in this matchup, especially on top of the fact that Western Michigan is getting this one behind their own home field advantage. Now, Central Michigan, they didn't necessarily get off to the greatest start to the season, but they have been picking up their play over their last two outings. So first, they opened up with a victory against an FCS opponent, but then they had that really bad 0-61 loss on the road against Wisconsin, but Wisconsin being a higher tier team, potentially they're over in the Big Ten. With what we've been seeing out of the Badgers, it looks very likely to be the case that they're going to compete right there at the top of the West Division in the Big Ten and going on and potentially playing in the Big Ten title game. So the Chippewas coming up well short in that one, but then they bounced back in their MAC home opener against Akron, who is one of the lower tier teams, certainly in the Mid-American Conference, winning that one by a final of 45-24. And then in their last outing, going on the road against the Miami Hurricanes, and Central Michigan going into that one as considerable dogs, and they made things respectable, falling to Miami by a final of 12-17. Now they're going into the second leg of a very tough back-to-back road trip, and this is also going to be their third road game in their past four contests. So we'll see how much the Chippewas have left in the tank as they come into this rivalry matchup. Now, the home team, Western Michigan, they have a very high ceiling on the offensive side of the ball. Now, the Broncos, they were able to get things competitive against Syracuse last week on the road, but their comeback came up short, and the Orange were able to close things out there down the stretch. The Broncos had potentially their chances at completing that comeback, but like I said, that effort ran out of gas down the stretch, as in the end, they still lost to Syracuse by a final of 33-52, and a final score that feels a bit wider apart than how that game actually felt like when it was going through that contest. And the Broncos, the week prior, had their best performance of the year, and it came on their home field against Georgia State. And that's not a terrible Georgia State squad by any means. That's a Panthers opponent that won, for instance, on the road against Tennessee, and they have shown signs that they might be a little bit better than this year than what people were expecting. But the Broncos, extremely impressive in that one, winning by a final of 57-10, and it just shows you what the Broncos can do offensively when they're firing on all cylinders. Now, Western Michigan, their experience on the offensive side of the ball is certainly a benefit to them. They have a very well-balanced attack. They're 19th in the nation in passing, 41st in rushing, 25th in scoring, and we feel like behind their home field advantage, going against what could be a Central Michigan team that's running on fumes, with this being a back-to-back road situation and 3 road games in their last 4 outings. We like Western Michigan's offense to be the difference maker as they separate on the scoreboard, go on to win and cover this rather large 16-point spread. That's where we're going to side in this one, taking the Broncos, giving those points as the better value bet. If you agree, give the video a thumbs up. Disagree, give it a thumbs down. And again, check out our free play in the Rutgers versus Michigan matchup over at our main website, as well as all of our picks for Saturday's action in college football over at stumpthespread.com, which is linked down in the video description.